Welcome into the Game 7 show. At a wave, backup wave from the mic. It is Monday, August 5th from Met Radio and MSU Denver. It's your host, Will Satler, alongside Isaac Bugarin for Game 7. This is episode 28 from sunny Denver, Colorado.
Wow.
More sports, man.
Wow.
28
episodes so far. 28 episodes.
And this is going to be the biggest yet.
That'd be correct.
Not really. It could be, but it's 5 p.m. in Toronto somewhere. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It actually is 5 o'clock in Toronto right now.
You just made that up.
No, it's 4:50 in Toronto right now.
Okay.
2 hour time difference. So it's like 4:50. Kind of crazy how you chose this song.
But it's 5 a.m. in Toronto, so it's odd.
Oh, no, the song is 5 p.m.
5 a.m.
Oh, on this it says 5 p.m.
That's an error. That's an editor's error.
It's a mistake? All right.
You got to catch this. Got to get through an editor.
If you're listening for the first time ever, this is the Game 7 podcast. Welcome in.
You can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, SoundCloud, whatever you want to listen to.
We are brought to you by Met Radio. Met Radio is the host of MSU Denver Media. And pretty much they sponsor us and let us use the studio, let us use the equipment. They give us the time, and we publish through them. They give us a voice, and we bring you content on a weekly basis. This is a once-a-week podcast. Pretty much we talk about all sports in Colorado, touch a little bit on national news here and there. But we are officially on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. You can find us on all those. If you want us to be on another platform that you listen to all of your other podcasts on, let us know. We'll reach out to them and get onto their platform.
Yeah, send us an email with that platform, game7show@gmail.com.
That's the truth. You can email us, game7show@gmail.com, Facebook, Game7Show, Twitter, @_Game7, YouTube, Game7Show, right? What else am I missing? Oh, you can follow Will @Will Satler. You can follow myself @Isaac_Bugarin. As I said, we bring you a new show every Monday, and here in a couple of weeks we'll be coming to you from a new time with more content, more time, more questions, more answers, more insight.
More Game 7s, baby.
Yep, and that'll start on Tuesdays.
Flex.
So we have this Monday, next Monday, and then after that we go on Tuesdays.
This Monday, next Tuesday, and then August 20th is the official
Correct.
change.
August 20th?
I mean, we usually post pretty late on Mondays anyway, so probably most people listen on Tuesdays, but
Yeah, exactly.
Tuesday's a good day, man. I like Tuesdays.
Looking forward to August 20th, man. Last episode, we had 2 people in the studio, David Vigil and Luis Olivas. We talked about the Broncos, the Rockies, and Fortnite. Some kid made $3 million
It was me.
by playing Fortnite, correct? Right? This kid made $3 million just by winning a tournament or something like that, a solo tournament.
He made a little more than $3 million, yeah.
That's crazy. Shout out to Coach Mo. Hit me up with the magic word of baloney at the end of last. At the end of the last episode, we said if you were still listening, because it was a long episode. If you were still listening, we said hit us up, magic word baloney, and he hit me up.
What's the magic word today?
We'll give it at the end of the podcast.
Okay.
We'll give it at the
It's
end.
gonna
of
be
the
like dog food or something.
I don't know.
That's a pretty good word though. Dog food.
Dog food.
Purina.
Oh my goodness.
Purina.
What are we talking about today?
Sports. Let's talk about the Broncos, the Hall of Fame game. That was Thursday after last week's podcast. So we'll break down what we saw in that game. The Broncos ended up winning, I think it was 14-10. 13-10. Juwan Winfrey with the game-winning catch in the fourth quarter. How did Drew Lock look? How did the offensive line look? How did the defense look? Rockies made no deals at the deadline. We weren't on the show after the trade deadline. I think that was last Monday.
Yep.
So no deals from the Rockies, and they need to get hot quick. We got some fan questions this week and a pretty cool breakthrough, a local breakthrough. So
yeah, exactly.
We'll get into that.
For those of you guys that don't know, the breakthrough is a little segment that we have at the end of every episode where we bring you a sports story that is relevant to today's show.
Well, and those fan questions, don't forget that's happy hour.
Yeah, exactly. Happy hour, man.
Yeah, you got a brew over there?
No.
All right, good. No alcohol on campus. That's illegal.
No alcohol.
Underage drinking.
No
is
alcohol
not okay.
in the studio. No food or beverage.
Oh, there is alcohol downstairs, huh?
Yeah, they got the Tivoli Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We are in a brewing building.
Yeah.
I don't know if our viewers ever knew that. Come live from the Tivoli, the historic Tivoli building.
I heard that this used to be like this building used to be a movie theater or something to the sorts, right?
It used to be like a whole restaurant and such.
I forget who told me that.
I'm sure it's probably this like room. You would think like this area would be the movie theater.
It is pretty high up. Huh, that's
What does that have to do with the movie theater?
Because you got a big screen.
I was talking more about like the technology inside this room that worked for media would probably not like this actual room. This would be too small. But like maybe like the conference hall down the way.
That makes sense.
I don't know, man. That was a long time ago, I bet. I think it was like 10 years ago. That's a long time for us.
Well, before we talk about the NFL, well, I guess Tom Brady is a part of this NFL. Pretty big player in the NFL.
He is pretty important in the NFL.
He's a pretty good quarterback, right?
Is he the best quarterback in the NFL right now?
That's a debate for another show. But he did just sign a 2-year extension with the New England Patriots. This is a little bit more important than I think anybody really realizes it, right? Because Tom Brady's going to get paid $23 million this year, right?
Yeah.
$23 million. So Tom Brady's always had this idea that he doesn't want to get paid that much. He just wants to win. He'll take less money for the New England Patriots to basically build a solid team around him. So when it comes to contracts, he always has his actions that back his words. So basically, Tom Brady and the Patriots and Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, they have one of the most unique arrangements that's based on trust that's been built over the length of Tom Brady's career. So obviously Brady's been making top dollar, has never been a priority. He's never wanted to be the highest paid quarterback because he wants better players around him, right?
Right.
So a scenario that could have happened this offseason is that Brady says, you know what, after the 2019 season, my contract's going to expire, and I'm not going to sign back with the Patriots, so they're going to have to franchise tag me for $32 million.
46 years old.
46 years old. $32 million if they wanted to keep him around. But Brady, who's not necessarily about pushing this financial envelope, that would have made Bill Belichick basically turn to a different option, which very well could have been the 4th-round pick, Jarrett Stidham. I hope I said that right. Jarrett Stidham.
Where did he go to school?
I couldn't tell you.
That sounds very familiar. I don't know why.
I couldn't tell you where he went to school. But that would have forced Brady to finish his career elsewhere outside of New England because the Patriots would not have given a aging 40-plus-year-old quarterback $32 million.
He's quarterback for Auburn.
Okay. So instead, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and Robert Kraft found common ground, which they have done at various points throughout their career, throughout the last 20 years. This approach is at the heart of what has been allowed to what is supposed to be one of the most successful trios in not only NFL history but professional sports as entire. You know, so and this is to sustain success, sustainability, and that's exactly what this contract enables them to do. One of the most notable parts about this Brady 2-year extension is that the 2 seasons that are added are actually void years. So essentially that means that they're going to give Tom Brady an $8 million raise this season, and then the contract expires at the end of the season, basically. Because the next 2 years, he's going to get paid in 2020, $30 million, and in 2021, $32 million. So those are just placeholders, right? And the sides are going to meet up again at the negotiating table at the end of the season to determine the best way to proceed as Brady hopes to achieve his goal of playing until he's 45 years old.
He is 45.
Until he's after 45, correct. So such an arrangement works because this trio of Kraft, Belichick, and Brady have just such a rare trust. Like, could John Elway pull this off with somebody like Peyton Manning?
Well, I mean, Tom Brady, they've been together his entire career. He's known nothing else.
Exactly.
If John Elway had drafted Peyton Manning 10 years ago, then it's a different story. But.
Yeah. But I don't think any other NFL franchise or professional sports team could pull off a deal like this with such trust to say, hey, we'll give you $23 million, or Tom Brady to even come to them and say, hey, I'll take less money throughout my entire career so that way you guys could build a solid team around me.
Yeah, rightfully so.
You know? So that's an extra $9 million, which can go to another wide receiver, another tight end, you know?
You just wish
another tackle.
You just wish you would see that throughout all sports more often. Like, this guy took a team cut his entire career, right? Like you said.
Exactly.
And they won a lot of championships before it, and now he's in his dog days of his career, but he's still one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, and then like now he gets paid, and that's rightfully so. The Patriots should have paid him, and they did. So
yeah, exactly.
good to see.
So Tom Brady gonna be playing till he's 50.
He's gonna be screwing the Broncos over for another 2-3 years.
You know his wife makes more money than him?
Well, doing what? She's a model, right?
Yeah, she makes way more money than him.
Probably.
But anyways, Broncos Hall of Fame game. Broncos win on a late touchdown. Tell me about it, Will.
So Broncos went up in the first, I think it was the first half. They scored the first touchdown, and then they kind of stumbled through the middle of the game. Drew Lock struggled, and then as we get to the closing time, who was the quarterback in there? I don't remember. Who closed? It wasn't Drew Lock.
Brett Ripien?
Oh, yeah, Brett. And he throws a pass with about a minute left in the fourth to Juwan Winfrey, which was one of the better catches we've seen all year, including last year, with a little juggle catch in the back of the end zone. I mean, it was the third touchdown catch of the
low-scoring game
season,
14-10.
which, if you're a Broncos fan, is really good to see, I think, because that means, yes, it is week 0, it is a preseason game, but their defense showed out, and this defense is scary.
Vic Fangio, who actually passed a kidney stone before the day, in that same day before the game, he passed a kidney stone and still came out to coach. That reminds me of Miguel Olivo. When he did that, he did it in a spring training game. He was a catcher for the Colorado Rockies. If you guys don't remember him,
I saw his jersey on Monday. I remember seeing that, and I was like, "Dang, he's got an Olivo." Oh no, it was Willeen Rosario's jersey. And I was like, "Dang,
20,
those are the
20.
days." Yeah.
Miguel Olivo passed a kidney stone in an inning. Right, just went to the bathroom, passed a kidney stone, and then came back for his at bat in that same inning, which is insane. Right, and Vic Fangio did that. But obviously, he's a lot older. And came out and still coached the Denver Broncos.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that something?
That's a big wow.
But after the game, so Drew Lock basically, he had I don't want to say he had a terribly bad performance, but it wasn't impressive.
No, I agree with that.
I'll say it wasn't. His performance at the Hall of Fame game was not impressive. 7 for 11, 34 yards. That's 3. He's averaging 3 yards per throw. Right? He got sacked twice for 15 yards. And they were on back-to-back plays, if I'm correct.
So in reality, remember, he's playing with the twos, right? He was playing with his twos, although the twos kind of started that game, so it was more like the threes.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing against threes, so you can't really argue that he was playing a tough defense.
Yeah.
But he didn't have all the pieces around him. He didn't have the strong offensive line that they've built. So,
but that's not necessarily what I'm mad about or frustrated about as a viewer of this Broncos football team. What frustrates me is that the 4 misses that he had weren't that good. You know? He missed them by a lot. He had, I believe, 3 of them were down the field, and he missed them by, 4 or 5 yards almost.
Yeah, true story. But, I mean, John Elway drafted him as a project. We can see this through training camp so far.
Oh, yeah.
His feet aren't good. He's not an accurate thrower yet. He's got lots of potential. The Broncos really love his arm, but this is a project. He wasn't supposed to come out and look like Joe Flacco 7 years ago, right? He was supposed to look like a rookie, and that's what he did. And honestly, it's more exciting to see him do what he did on Thursday than to see anything Paxton Lynch or anything that these past QBs have done. So it's good to see where he is.
Paxton Lynch won his first game as a Bronco in Tampa Bay.
But, remember how that game looked. He didn't look good.
It was ugly.
Exactly, and he had a great defense behind him. So,
but
Paxton Lynch also had a year to sit on the bench and learn from one of the best.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I think Drew Lock isn't – Paxton Lynch had that mentality of, hey, I'll sit behind Peyton Manning. Drew Lock does not have that mentality of, I'll sit behind Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco does not have that mentality of, hey, I'm going to train Drew Lock. You know? Peyton Manning was – sharing his knowledge with everybody inside of that Broncos organization, regardless of if you were a quarterback or not. He was talking to his wide receivers, his tight ends. He was talking to his whole line.
And that's what made him great, right? He was able to be a coach while he was the best player on the field. Now, Joe Flacco doesn't necessarily have that or hasn't really shown that to his career so far, but I'm excited to see a competition. That's exactly what you want in the locker room. You want a backup quarterback that is young and fighting and grinding and is going to make that starter better.
Okay.
And that starter is going to fight and he's going to compete. And when they both compete, you're going to get the same result as you would get from someone like a Peyton Manning who is extremely
But Drew Lock is not going to see the field at all this year. Drew Lock should not see the field at all this year.
I would agree with that, but the problem that I see is I don't think Joe Flacco, one, will be healthy the entire year, as old as he is, and I don't think that he can be consistent enough to play every game. So I think Drew Lock will see the field, but I don't think he'll see consistent playing time.
I would much rather see Joe Flacco throughout the entire year than I'd rather see Drew Lock.
Yeah.
Drew Lock, if you put him in the game and he plays like he did against the Falcons, against a team of second and third stringers, and he struggles the way he did, that is going to shell his confidence. Now you're putting him up against first teamers, that is going to he's going to get picked off at least 3 times.
Right? No.
He's going to get sacked at least 4 or 5 times, and hopefully we don't go 3 and out.
Yeah.
But that's probably what's going to happen. Is we're going to go 3 and out like the Broncos offense knows how to, like they have been for the past 4 or 5 years. We go 3 and out. We scored on 3 possessions of a game and somehow try to find a win. If not, then we're losing 28-10, 28-13.
That's what we've seen. But I just, looking at this team early, I don't see them giving up to one. Like, this is the defense. This defense is what's going to save this team and make them what they are. If the defense doesn't perform, if Von Miller doesn't go for 20 sacks and Bradley Chubb has 11 or 12, and Kareem Jackson doesn't have 6 picks, like...
If Bradley Chubb and Von Miller don't have roughly the same amount of stacks, sitting there right around 15 or 16 at the end of the year together, or should be at 32 to 40 together,
right?
Then it's going to be a rough year. We're going to be a team that goes 4-12.
And I think a little bit that will help Bradley Chubb take that next step is he doesn't have Shane Ray back there now. That was the edge rusher of the future for the Broncos for so long. He doesn't have to worry about that anymore. And I don't think he was worried about it because he's that good. But I think that the playing time will pick up. He's got a year to study under Von Miller. Not necessarily under, exactly. That's the crazy thing. That's how good Bradley Chubb was last year, and he didn't play with Von Miller. It wasn't like he had that learning year. So, again, we talk a lot about it on the show. The sophomore slump is a real thing for many people. So I wouldn't be surprised if he misses, but I would not be surprised if he has 15, 16 sacks this year. He reminds me a lot of Khalil Mack, and I think that Khalil Mack is one of the best edge rushers in football history.
I hope I can see a Bradley Chubb turn into a Khalil Mack, or a Bradley Chubb turn into a Von Miller type player.
Can you imagine that defense?
Can you imagine?
I mean, an aging DeMarcus Ware was part of the best defensive line in Broncos history.
But you know what it starts with? Our defense has to start with our offense and managing the game. Joe Flacco has to be able to manage the game correctly, keep his defense off of the field for half of the game.
Right.
We can't have these times where our defense plays 20 minutes and a half. 25 minutes and a half, Well,
and you hear it all the time, and it's really become like a negative term, like game manager, right? Alex Smith was quintessential to being a game manager in Kansas City when he was there, and even now with the Redskins, and even before that with the Niners. He was a game manager is what they called him, and I would be totally fine if Joe Flacco was a game manager for 16 games this year.
Exactly. I can't be mad if the Broncos go down and get three first downs in a series and then have to punt or have to settle for a long field goal, a 54-yard field goal. I can't be mad at that,
But 3 and outs.
But I can be mad when we get 3 and outs on 4 straight possessions,
Right, and they're all incomplete passes or throwaways, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. But this is a team that has to run the ball. Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman have to run the ball successfully. Joe Flacco's going to hit his tight ends. All you have to do is get 3 or 4 first downs, and you're going to be in field goal territory. Yeah. Because in Denver, you can kick a 54-yard field goal with pretty much ease. We got such high elevation up here, that ball carries.
Coors.
Just like Coors Field. That is kind of funny.
So Broncos defense is going to be legit. It's really going to balance off the offense, like you said. But that offense did have a little turmoil at practice today. It was reported that Emmanuel Sanders and Cortland Sutton got into it, throwing some hands at practice.
What do you think about that?
Compete, man. No team that's been ever good has not gone through adversity and competed like that.
Exactly. They're competitors.
Now, don't get me wrong. If that happens next practice with those two and then another practice with those two, then it becomes a problem.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Vic Fangio really shut it down. And
what were they arguing about? Who are they arguing about who gets the successful deep ball pass from Joe Flacco, the one that he throws?
From what I thought I read, I think it was about Joe Flacco passing more to Cortland Sutton than he was Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh, really?
And it was either that or Sutton was dropping balls, which was joked about on Twitter. That surprised he caught Emmanuel Sanders' hands. So, I mean,
I'm gonna find an article right here.
Yeah,
Talks
Troy
about it.
Rennick from Denver media.
It was they got into a little argument on the sideline during what reporters at practice said was sloppy and chippy session. Sanders said that he was trying to get them right while referring to younger players on the team like Sutton.
Didn't this happen last
Water
year,
bottles
too?
were thrown before players like Joe Flacco and Derek Wolfe stepped in to calm things down. Fangio said that players need to refrain from fighting while in the practice field and stop practice to have a team meeting after things had calmed down for the two wide receivers.
Well, and there was also reports out of practice that Philip Lindsay was all over Garrett Bowles for his performance. And then Garrett Bowles went right back at him after Philip Lindsay dropped a pass and it turned into a pick six. So, yeah, I like to hear it. You love to hear it.
So we look bad offensively, and our defense is taking
The next step.
our defense is saying, "You guys suck. Step it up. We're looking like all-stars out here," which they should look like all-stars. You know,
Isn't that what happened the season after Peyton Manning retired?
I couldn't tell you.
I think I remember the defense continuously be saying, like, yo, Trevor, you got to step up. Like, this team is performing amazing on defense, and you're not.
We're scoring 10 points a game, 7 points in a quarter.
Right, and we're giving up 13, which is the best in the NFL, but we're losing. So, this defense is going to lead this team. And yes, you're right. It's going to take a lot of offense, or it's going to take a successful offense to make this defense good. But if there's no defense, there is no Denver Broncos this year. And that's really how we've grown up watching Denver Broncos football the last 19 years, right? Since I've been alive.
Yep.
That's the football I know. The Broncos will freaking play great aggressive defense.
Yep.
And that's what we haven't seen really the last 2 years, and it's been hard to watch.
Yep.
That's why I love.
We got to hold the ball on offense. We got to hold the ball on offense. Brendan Langley and Steven Dunbar Jr. both had fumbles in the Hall of Fame game. You know, granted it's a low-scoring game. It's a preseason game. By the way, we got to hold on to the ball. Two guys that are hoping to make a roster.
Yeah, man. It's interesting. I'm excited to see what goes on.
Takeaways from this Broncos team is that I don't think Drew Lock should see the field this year, and our defense has to play aggressive, and offense has to Joe Flacco has to be a game manager this season.
Retweet that, man. Post it everywhere. Get that quote.
There you go.
Put it on Twitter. Do something like that. Something that is not going as well, and it's a little too back to go into. It's not the preseason for the Rockies anymore.
Unfortunately.
It is August 5th, and there is no longer 3 or 4 months left in the season. We are now into the dog days
August.
of
It
the
is
season.
August. So throughout the entire summer, we've been saying, should the Rockies be afraid? Should they be concerned? And I think we've both said that
Maybe.
we shouldn't be concerned until the end of July, until the beginning of August, if this team is still in the same spot. And what are they doing? Last place.
So let me make a point real quick. We talked about it earlier in the year. The Dodgers are having one of the best years we've seen in baseball in a long time. You can't really say, well, this if we did this and this. Nothing the Rockies done this last offseason would have put them ahead of the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That is 100% correct. But the Rockies just went through the worst July in their team history, winning, I think, 4 games in all of July. Worst month in Rockies history, the short history of 26 years.
Yep.
That doesn't happen every year, right?
Correct. That doesn't happen all the time.
So things have gone horribly wrong. We saw the David Dahl freak injury the other night. Thank goodness he's okay. Hopefully it's just a high ankle sprain. He's back in 15 days. Herman Marquez had the freak injury this weekend. Just a sprained cramp, but a cramp essentially.
Yep.
He's going to be okay. He starts tomorrow against Greinke. So a lot of things have gone wrong. And the one thing, I mean, Kyle Freeland hasn't been good. That's another thing. Like everything has gone wrong for this team that's supposed to go right.
Anything that could go wrong has gone wrong this season for the Rockies. Anything that could go wrong has gone absolutely miserably wrong.
And that's why, as much as I want to say, to be realistic here, the hope is lost. What reason can we give our listeners a reason to keep hope in the Rockies right now?
6.5 games. We made up a game last week.
So there's
in the wild card. We're 6.5
games
games back. You know, we're a game behind Cincinnati, 3.5 behind the Mets.
And there's 9 games under 500 right now?
8 games.
8 games under 500. They're going into Houston this week, which will be tough. They'll catch the back end of that rotation, which includes Zach Greinke, Garrett Cole, and Wade Miley. So
it's only 2 games in
well,
Houston.
thank goodness they don't get Wade Miley, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
and speaking of which, the Astros just threw a no-hitter with their 5th best pitcher in Sanchez last week.
well, they just traded for him.
Yeah, exactly. He's their 5th best
It was
pitcher.
a combined no-hitter. Let's get that
He threw
clear.
6 innings of no-hit
And then
baseball.
they get Verlander the next day. So this team's gonna be good. They're a scary team to face in the postseason.
They should be. You should be afraid to face the Astros in the postseason.
But definitely a big win. I mean, this was the best weekend of Rockies baseball we've seen in a long time. They took 2 out of 3 from one of the hottest teams in baseball in the
Yep,
Giants, the
correct.
second best team in the NL West currently. And
No, they're the Diamondbacks and Giants are tied for.
so the D-backs won yesterday. The Giants lost, so then
Yeah.
they would
Yeah.
be the same.
They're both at 500, 56 and 56.
They made no big deals at the trade deadline. I mean, there was a lot of options, and I think the words out of British's camp was this team was built to win, and they're not winning. We were buyers before this July happened, and we didn't think that we had enough. Like, there was no reason to sell,
There was no reason to buy, no reason to sell.
and that's totally
Even
fine.
though I've been very adamant that the Rockies should be sellers, I've been very adamant about that, and they didn't make any deals. So
You don't work for the front office, and that might be a good thing. Because I mean, if they trade one of those pieces away, and Ian Desmond, and he goes off in the postseason, they trade away a Daniel Murphy, and he becomes a World Series MVP for the Astros.
okay,
Like,
truth be told, I don't see Daniel Murphy being a Rocky next year because he has so much value that I think the Rockies could move Daniel Murphy and get a solid pitcher for him, and then you could move either Ryan McMahon to first base. You have so many options that can come up and play first base for you next year, and it can still produce just as much, if not more, than Daniel Murphy. You're going to miss Daniel Murphy in the clubhouse, yes, but I think you're not going to miss him as much as the team missed Gerardo Parra or Carlos Gonzalez this year in the clubhouse.
yeah, and I mean that's to be expected, right? You lost two of your biggest leaders in
the clubhouse.
club history.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that might be where like the struggles have gone wrong. For our listeners, the one thing that I can say that keeps me optimistic is that their 2 best players offensively right now have not been good this year.
Yep.
Nolan
And
Arenado has not hit well in a very long time.
Not since June 28th, I believe. Since June 28th, he has been one of the worst hitters.
And really, his left side, his partner, Trevor Story, has not been Trevor Story.
Exactly. And not until the past week when he finally found his stride, hitting home runs in 4 games.
So
4 straight games?
realistically, Ian Desmond has been much better than he has in years past. So that's a win.
But he's not playing as much.
But in regards, I'm going to break it down real quick. Ian Desmond is playing much better than he has in years past. Charlie Blackmon is an all-star. He hasn't been great, but he's been good enough. David Dahl is an all-star, and if he's healthy, he's one of their best hitters. I mean, you add Daniel Murphy into that mix, who's been hot for the last 2 months, whether they've been good or not. Ryan McMahon has the all-star numbers since the all-star break.
Yep.
If they can get some competency at the catcher position, right? Chris Arnett has been horrible. He hasn't hit a ball out of the infield since May.
I think he just went yard a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he hasn't got a hit.
Same thing with Nolan Arenado, who hadn't gone yard in almost the entire month of July.
It seemed like it. So if there's one thing, I could care less about pitching at this point. They're going to hit, and that's what they haven't done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the reason why I say you can care less about pitching, German Marquez has been an ace this year. John Gray has been an ace.
I wouldn't say German Marquez has been an ace. He's been very inconsistent. John Gray has been the best pitcher on the Rockies. He's been the most consistent on the Rockies. Marquez has good starts, you know. He'll have 2 out of 3 good starts, you know. He'll have two starts where he'll go 6-7 innings and he'll give you shutout baseball, 1-run baseball. But then he'll have a third start where he gives up 4 runs in 2 innings.
Which I would rather have a starter that does that than someone who has an ADRA right now.
That's in Kyle Freeland.
But
so John Gray is more consistent. He'll come out and he'll give you 6 innings a game, minus his last one because he went 112 pitches against the Dodgers, and I think he only made it to 92 against the Giants on Saturday
Here's
night.
what I'll say for all the people out there that are the Kyle Freeland freaks, the Kyle Freeland fans like us included. We have seen a success story of someone who's struggled in John Gray last year. He went to AAA. He was horrible. Granted, he was not as bad as Freeland's been this year.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll make the argument that Freeland's stuff is better than John Gray. So if they have the same timeline, and as we see Freeland get more comfortable and return a little bit better, I mean, he's given up a lot of home runs.
A lot.
But I have more confidence that Freeland will come back than Gray did. And that's his stuff.
I think that John Gray is about to get paid a lot of money. He's going to get paid. He's probably going to get paid just a little bit more than Marquez.
Which rightfully so, right?
He's been
a
the most
higher
consistent
draft pick. He's been more consistent. He's one of the best Rockies pitchers in history so far.
Exactly. He's the only starter to have 10-plus wins in 4 consecutive seasons. Only starter in Rockies history. Rockies have been around for 27 years.
Just about.
27 seasons.
Yeah.
And we've had one guy pitch 4 consecutive seasons with 10 wins.
And I think the person in second place was Jorge De La Rosa, and he was here for 10
He was
decades.
here for a long time.
You know? He was here for a very long time, and that's how he did it. And he wasn't even a strikeout pitcher. So it's good to see. Like, I'm comfortable with this rotation. They will find their stuff. That back end sucks. They have no... But
realistically, the only help that the Rockies need, the pitching is going to be fine next year.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you the same year that they've had this year. Marquez will be consistent. Freeland will hopefully be a little bit more consistent. I think Jeff Hoffman and Peter Lambert are slowly finding their stuff.
Again, yeah.
And John Gray is going to be consistent next year too. He's always been consistent throughout. I mean, minus a couple bad starts here and there in 2018 when he got sent down.
In 2019 right now, this rotation is not good enough to win a playoff series, and I'll stick by that.
Correct.
They can win a wild card game, but I don't think they're good enough to go 3-4 games, and I think that showed in the postseason last year.
Yep.
But in a year and a half, maybe this team, these guys are maturing, right? We really haven't seen a success story in sports from bringing back the same core, right?
Yeah.
Which worries me about the Nuggets. We'll talk about that later. But I mean, this team, give them a year. Like have them have a John Gray year where they struggle, and then they bounce back. I mean, Germán Marquez has struggled, Freeland has struggled, Gray has struggled, Hoffman has struggled, and Peter Lambert will struggle.
Eventually.
And they'll find their stuff. And I think that's the thing about playing baseball at Coors. That's the thing about just about everything in pitching.
It's the hardest thing to do in sports is pitching at Coors Field almost. Because your balls don't break as much. So you have to be a great pitcher at Coors Field. You have to bring your A stuff every time you pitch at Coors Field. You know, you can't make a tiny mistake. You make a mistake and somebody's going to plant that ball about 430 feet in left field.
Donovan Solano twice last night.
Yeah.
So, one thing, it's totally off track here, but we don't really talk about the Coors argument a lot because we understand Colorado baseball, but national media, other people around the world or America, they don't really understand it. They've never lived here, and rightfully so, right? We talk a lot about Yankee Stadium, but, I mean, I haven't been to Yankee Stadium. I've never played in Yankee Stadium. So,
short porch right field, short porch left field.
Right, we call it a Little League Stadium. It's small.
It's
sure,
tiny, 320 feet.
It's hard to pitch there, and that's the same thing for Coors. Why don't pitchers get more support for when they pitch well at Coors Field than as much hitters get?
Because Colorado is not a big market. Colorado, we are not playing on national television every single week. We play on national television once a month.
And I get that, but then when Walker Buehler comes in here and throws 8 innings and gives up 2 hits, why doesn't he get the support for throwing one of the best starts all season?
He does. He does. He gets national news. He plays for the Los Angeles Dodgers in a big market. You know, millions of people are going to watch that game. They're going to find a way to watch ESPN, to watch Walker Buehler throw 8 innings of 2-hit baseball at Coors Field.
I mean, shit, I would want to see Walker Buehler pitch too.
Yeah.
That guy's pretty dang good.
Hyun-Jin Ryu made it through, 7 innings of 3-hit baseball against the Rockies on last Sunday, at Coors Field, and he got all the attention. Marquez did the same exact thing. He did it. He held him to 2 hits, but I didn't see him on SportsCenter. I didn't see him on MLB Network.
Very, very true. So that's an argument for a whole another day.
Wade Davis was removed from the closer role. Scott Oberg and pitchers by committee will be closing out games for the remaining part of the season. Although Wade Davis did throw a pretty good 6th inning yesterday against the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, be a 6th inning guy, be a 7th inning guy. But until you figure your stuff out, you do not deserve the closer role.
Correct, but we're going to pay a guy $9 million to pitch in the 6th inning. I don't know.
You either have him pitch in the 6th inning or you don't have him pitch at all right now. So that's the thing. They're getting use out of that much money. So they didn't trade him. They didn't find a partner for him. And
nobody wants a Wade Davis who has an ERA of what, like 5, 6?
It worked last night, so let's run with it. Nothing else has worked. Why not try it, right?
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Rockies moving forward, 2 against the Astros. You get Greinke. You try to get away from Greinke as he gets traded to the Astros, but of course his first game is against the Rockies, so that's how baseball works. And then you get the 2-headed monster.
Zach Greinke is gonna have an incredible spin rate tonight. I can't wait to watch
tomorrow night. But yes.
Or tomorrow night, correct?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. But Game 7 is more interesting to watch when we have fan questions, right?
That is true.
Is it true?
We
have some fan questions today. Happy hour.
Happy hour.
Happy hour. Chase the money.
So first and foremost, last week, I said that the Nuggets are not the best team in the Western Conference. Somebody asked, please explain why the Nuggets are not the best team in the Western Conference.
This one's only for Isaac. I'm not answering this because I think they are.
They're a competitive team in the Western Conference. But given the fact that this team is so young, right? They are one of the, I believe, the top 5 youngest teams in NBA right now. Right? And now you're going up against a team like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis and LeBron James. You know? The Portland Trailblazers beat us in 7 games last year. We should be afraid of them. They should be one of the top teams in the West.
I think the outliers right now are the Lakers, but the Clippers aren't very deep.
Were the Raptors deep last year? Did they have?
Fred VanVleet was their best player through the postseason. He was their 6th man.
Exactly. So that proves that Kawhi Leonard can win on a team doesn't have that much depth.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard's good, but I think the Nuggets are the deepest team in the West right now, from top to bottom.
They are the deepest team, but are they the best? Are they proven to be the best right now?
I mean, depth wins championships. We saw it with the Warriors. Yes, that was different, but they had the best depth in the league, and then they added KD, and they lost that depth.
But we just talked about how the Raptors won a chip without all that depth.
I mean, I think they had good
without
depth.
A 10-man bench or without a 10-man rotation. You know? It doesn't matter about depth. Not when Nikola Jokic is going to play in 4 overtimes.
Yeah.
You know? When he's going to play the most minutes any other center has ever played in.
I will make an argument now, and we do this every episode, but hot take of the day, Nikola Jokic will finish in the top 3 of MVP voting this next year. Do I think he wins it? No, but I think he'll finish in top 3 voting because he'll be a finalist.
That is not necessarily saying that the Nuggets are the best team in the Western Conference.
Correct.
The Warriors just re-upped with D'Angelo. They have 2 of the best guards in the game right now, D'Angelo Russell and Stephen Curry. Right? Right? Yeah. Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul Russell Westbrook and James Harden are now playing in Houston together for the first time. God knows what kind of 2-headed monster that's going to be between them 2 and Clint Capella. You know, that's still a scary team in the Houston Rockets. I already talked about the Trailblazers. Already talked about the Lakers and the Clippers.
I think with my Jokic comment, I want to say that Westbrook is going to be a finalist too. I just think he's going to have a revenge tour and he's going to have offense. I'm interested to see the Houston Rockets play.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Just as excited as I was to see the Thunder play when they got Melo and.
Yeah. So with all that being said, are the Nuggets the best team? Are the Nuggets a competitive team in the Western Conference? Yes. Are the Nuggets the most? Do they have the most depth in the Western Conference? Yes. Are they the youngest team in the Western Conference? Really close to yes. Right? Are they a very solid basketball team? Yes. But are they the best team? Without a doubt. Are they the best team?
Without a doubt, no.
Exactly.
But there's an argument to be made that they have the best depth. They have one of the best players. They have a coming up guard. Like, there's an argument to be made that this is the best team in basketball. You were not crazy for saying the Nuggets are a top seed in the West right now. But,
correct.
But it's very true that the Clippers are pretty dang good with their 2 best players. The Lakers are deep even with those 2.
The entire NBA is going to sleep on the Nuggets. They haven't made the NBA, or they haven't released the NBA schedule yet for this year, but I can guarantee you that the Lakers and the Clippers will probably have a combined 120 games on national television.
Well, and they're on Christmas Day. We know that for sure.
We know that for sure.
The Lakers and Clippers will play on Christmas Day, but you know who's going to play with them? The Nuggets and the Pelicans.
Correct.
So,
but are the Nuggets going to get all the national attention this year?
I feel like they got a lot last year. They played a lot on TNT.
Okay, we have 82 games in a year, right? 82 games. Are we going to play? The Lakers are probably going to play at least 70 of theirs on national television, right?
They make the big bucks.
The Clippers are probably going to play on at least 60 games on national television.
Rightfully so.
right? Are the Nuggets going to play on that same amount? Are we going to play on 40 national televised games?
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
We're not the team that's the best in the Western Conference. Nobody wants to watch the Nuggets on TNT. Nobody wants to watch the Nuggets on ESPN.
I think it's a little less about that. It's more about ratings, right? The demographic of LA, there's more people in LA than Denver, right?
Yeah.
So more people are going to watch a Lakers game than they are going to watch a Nuggets game. And that doesn't mean that one is better than the other. That just means that ratings are higher. And that's kind of the name of the game. So like last year when the Lakers were really, really bad. They still were on national TV.
And they were still on national television.
Yeah, that's
some
just
real
the name of the game.
barn-burning games. You know, the Lakers and the Hawks. What a great game to watch on TNT.
Vince Carter will be a Hawk.
He is, indeed.
He just signed.
I just saw that.
42-0. Wojbom.
He's going to retire as a Hawk. Or not retire as a Hawk, but this is going to be his last year.
Well, I guess he would retire as a Hawk if he plays for the Hawks.
Craig Kimbrell also just got sent to the injured list with a knee inflammation.
I thought you were going to say he just got signed. I was like, your phone update yet? Next question.
Did you watch the Hall of Fame speech that Champ Bailey made this weekend? Yes, I did watch Champ Bailey's Hall of Fame speech. It was very good. He talked about one of his best things that he said was in 2004, the best thing for my career happened to me. I was traded to the Denver Broncos. It was something along those lines. And I believe everybody from Denver, or everybody that was wearing orange and blue in Canton, Ohio, over the weekend made
wept
a lot of noise after that.
We were like,
it was a very good speech. He talked a little bit about being black in America, which is...
This is America.
You know,
okay.
So he did talk about that. He made a statement about that, urged everybody that the discussion needs to move forward about...
But how many times have we heard this? What has changed? You know, the one thing that... We'll get a little political here for just a second, but the shootings that we've experienced in America, at least the last weekend...
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there's finally a little bit of a push from the community. Like, we would hear a little bit with Parkland, and then we hear it again, and then hear it again. And there hasn't been a solid push, but there's finally a solid push for things to change, right? We saw the Philadelphia soccer club. The guy scored a goal and ran over to the field market. And it's like, Congress, do something, right?
Yeah, he took the microphone or something, I believe, right?
The platform is changing. So policy and change over thoughts and prayers, right? You hear that a lot. So
yep.
It's very interesting, but I feel like we're finally getting a push. I don't know if this will be the push that changes anything, unfortunately.
Yep.
So
sad.
Political, sorry. And it's the same thing goes. We heard the Banana Boat brothers, LeBron and Chris Paul, they go off about the Black Lives Matter movement and all this different stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Has that changed police brutality in America? Is Colin Kaepernick on a football team right now? Like, that hasn't changed anything.
Exactly.
So it needs to continue. That move needs to continue. We talk about it with the Women's World Cup, right?
Yep.
Not enough has been done, and they're going to continue to push that. So we're in a good spot, and I think Champ Bailey's speech was important for that.
100%. It was a great speech. All of his family was there. He talked about all of his kids. Talked about all of his family. He was from a small town in Georgia, which I believe has a population of about 2,500 people.
Well, and then also keep in mind, like, Martin Luther King Jr.'s most famous speech, right? I Have a Dream. That was not his first speech.
Exactly.
In fact, it was one of his last.
Yep.
So we're heading in the right direction in a lot of things. We're heading in the wrong direction in a lot of things, and they're starting to turn around. So, yeah, political, deep.
Could the Rockies ever retire Troy Tulowitzki's number?
We talked about this last week. I mean, as bad as their ending was to the season, or not the season, but their togetherness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Troy Tulowitzki was Rockies, when he was on the Rockies, he was good.
He was one of the better.
He
Rockies.
deserves to have his number retired, and I don't think it's going to happen. At least under Bridges.
I don't think Troy Tulowitzki is deserving to have his number retired as a Rocky.
I mean,
what did he do? We went to the World Series as when he was.
That to me,
2007.
It's not a fluke, but it wasn't consistency. But Troy Tulowitzki changed the name of Rockies baseball. What did you think of Rockies baseball from the time that they first went to the World Series? The Blake Street Bombers. You have Larry Walker, Dante Bichette. Between that period and the time Troy Tulowitzki came to the team, what was that team?
Nothing.
Exactly. And he's made this team something. And while he is not, I wouldn't say he's transformed the game, but he's transformed Rockies baseball to make it competent.
And he did take Nolan Arenado. He did take DJ LeMahieu. You know, he took them all under his wing.
MVP candidates.
Yeah. Todd Houghton, who took Troy Tulowitzki under his wing.
Rightfully so. This is a bounce back question. Is Carlos Gonzalez worthy of getting his number retired in Colorado?
I think Carlos Gonzalez is.
And I think he will get his number retired.
I think Carlos Gonzalez will get his number retired.
There's a better chance that Cargo gets his number retired than Tulo, unfortunately.
I don't think Troy Tulowitzki ever steps inside Coors Field ever again.
I mean, that's a very good argument.
I don't see him coming back, even if the Rockies hosted an All-Star game and they bring back all of these famous Rockies to play. Larry Walker, Troy Tulowitzki, Nolan Arenado will be here. I don't know when we'll host the All-Star game, hopefully in the near future. But I'm sure they're going to bring back all these famous Rockies. DJ LeMahieu will probably come back. Todd Houghton, did I say his name yet? Brad Hopp.
Yeah.
Brad Hopp, you know.
Or
Ubaldo Jimenez. Throwing the no-hitter, yeah. You know.
That's all he did? Jeff Francis? Aaron Cook?
Yeah, I don't see Troy Tulowitzki ever stepping inside Coors Field ever again. I think the way that it ended was just so bad.
Yeah, unfortunately for Tulo, and that's just the name of the game. I wish I still had his jersey. I think I did have a Tulo jersey.
My dad has a road purple pinstripes Troy Tulowitzki jersey.
That's sick, dude.
It's got and at the time I think the Rockies had like glitter or something, like it was a shiny
glitter.
It was a shiny number outline or whatever, and my dad has one of those.
I'm really
pretty sweet.
I got a Marcus Stroman jersey from Duke coming in. I'm hyped for that. Did I tell you about that?
No.
I'm aware to the next episode that it comes in. I'm aware. Proudly repping Duke 7.
What about
Strohmeister.
What about when the Mets come to Coors Field?
Did they come again this year?
Yeah, I think so.
If they come again this year, I'll go see
September.
him pitch. I'll go see him pitch.
Or is it in the end of this month? No, I think it's in September.
Then we get a press pass.
I'd have to look it up.
We can go see him and go talk to him.
Are you gonna?
I wouldn't wear his jersey.
Are you gonna wear his jersey as we get it?
I would not wear a jersey to. That's not. That's not.
Mets are in town September 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Do you know if he's gonna pitch then?
I assume so. Well, he'll have 3 starts, 3 games. What are the chances?
Hopefully.
He's got a 3 out of 5 chance.
Well, we'll buy those tickets when they happen.
Does Larry Walker ever make the Hall of Fame? Or does Larry Walker make the Hall of Fame this year?
Well, this is his last chance. So if he ever is going to make it, it's going to be this year.
8th time on the ballot in 2018. Walker.
I think so.
His percentage of the vote jumped from 15.5% in 2016 to 21.9% last year.
He was so close last year. So.
This article was in 2018. That 54.6.
Yeah.
So he needs another 20%.
I think he can do it.
Another 20%.
He's made that jump.
I don't know, dude. It's still the whole Coors Field mentality that hey, you did this at Coors Field as a hitter, it doesn't count. That's what this argument is about.
Yeah, correct.
You know, because no lie, he was great on defense. I never watched him play. I was too young. But at the end of the day, it's still the Coors Field bias that you hit at Coors Field, your numbers should not be that high. Your home road splits are incredibly different.
To be unbiased here, like I would not be surprised if he misses, and I would not be surprised if he makes it. It's kind of like the Broncos, right? If they do great, or if they do 10-6, I wouldn't be surprised. Larry Walker makes the Hall of Fame. He deserves it. But I don't know if he would get that support, and I would not be surprised if he continues not to get it. I mean, it's been 8 years.
Should Larry Walker be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. But does he make the Hall of Fame this year? No. I think that Coors Field bias is just too big for him to overcome.
It's too big for anybody to overcome.
Yeah. I mean,
Todd Helton in a couple years, right?
Yep. I think Nolan Arenado is going to suffer from it too. He's not going to.
His road splits are a little bit better, at least at this point.
But the argument is that Nolan Arenado compared to Anthony Rendon, right? Anthony Rendon is probably one of the most consistent hitters across all of baseball.
Right.
You know, Nolan Arenado, his home road splits are just vastly different. There's no lie to say that Nolan Arenado is a better hitter at home than he is on the road.
But it
is true. He is a better hitter at home.
What hitter is not better at Coors Field?
Exactly. It's because of the Coors Field bias. Because the ball travels more in Coors Field. You got the biggest outfield in Coors Field in all of Major League Baseball. It is the biggest outfield in terms of space.
I hear
it's like 415 to dead center, you know.
The Coors watchdog is barking very loudly in the other room right now.
Coors Field is one of the easiest parks to hit. If you are a gap-to-gap hitter, you're going to get doubles and triples all year long.
DJ LeMahieu, Dexter Fowler, Charlie Blackmon. Like, who are the most
Garrett
successful
Hampson
Rockies?
just had a triple the other night.
Yeah.
Ian Desmond, who is
He's becoming a very good hitter at Coors Field.
Yeah.
He figured it out.
It's the same thing. If you could hit gap-to-gap in Coors Field, you're going to have a lot of doubles, you know? Todd Houghton.
Justin
together.
Morneau.
There you go, Justin Morneau. Michael Kadire. You said Dexter Fowler. Eric Young, if he could get a ball to the outfield, he was getting a double, a triple.
Exactly. So, yeah, Coors Field baseball. Speaking of Coors Field bias, how would the Rockies benefit from a Charlie Blackmon trade? If so, do we have a guy who can replace Blackmon's bat? Yeah, Raimel Tapia.
Tapia is not. I am not impressed with Tapia.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with him coming into the year, but I still don't think he's a fit for this team.
He's not. A slap hitting left-handed hitter does not have a place in this Major League Baseball era.
If someone is going to replace Charlie, it would be Tapia, and one not only because of his play style, but because remember what Charlie Blackmon means to Colorado, right? He is the outfield, your love, right?
Yep.
He is the beard, he is the nasty, right?
Yep.
Well, that's what Raimel Tapia brings. He brings the flow. He brings the crab, right? That's what he is. A Camaro or something like that.
That's
I think
the
it's
truth.
a translation. Was that? Yeah. Our Hispanic friend doesn't know.
But the only way Charlie Blackmon that we benefit from this trade is one, if we have somebody that can produce just as much, if not more than him, in the outfield, and if you can have, if you could get if you can get something valuable back from this trade. So in essence, you need probably at least two. If you're getting prospects, you're going to need at least 2 top 10 pitching prospects, and another, at least an outfielder or a bench player, somebody who can come off the bench and give you valuable pinch hit at bats.
It's not going to happen. They wouldn't trade him. It's just not going to happen. They might benefit from it, but it's not going to happen.
And see, that's where I just think Charlie Blackmon. Okay, if he belongs at Coors Field as an outfielder, he belongs in left field.
Again, I agree with you.
It is a shorter throw to third base, a shorter throw to second base. But it's a lot of range that he does have to cover.
This is like common baseball sense, though. Why would they have not done it yet? There has to be a reason behind it, right? There's a reason why he's not over there yet.
Because Tapia can't play right field.
But
because
Dahl
Garrett Hampson cannot play right field. Yes, David Dahl can. That's what I've been saying since.
Right, but there has to
February,
be a reason.
I've been saying that.
Exactly, but you've been saying it consistently. It's common baseball knowledge that your best arm should be in right field, right?
Exactly.
But why would the Rockies not have done that yet? They're competent.
They know something that we don't know.
Exactly.
They see something in Charlie Blackmon that we don't see, which I don't know what that is. I have no clue what that is because David Dahl is no doubt about it the better outfielder.
But maybe Charlie Blackmon in the clubhouse is like, I'm not playing left field. I am a right field outfielder.
So in that case, you got a diva playing right field.
Yeah.
You got a diva that is so anti-team that he's willing to play. He's not willing to play any other position besides right field.
He makes a lot of money. I would not put. I don't know Charlie Blackmon.
I wouldn't be surprised to see if eventually Tapia can get hot and stay hot and be a really good outfielder, and Garrett Hampson becomes a really good center fielder, and David Dahl becomes a really good right fielder. I guess if David Dahl plays left field or center field or right field, if any 3 combination of outfielders eventually become better than Charlie Blackmon, I would not be surprised to see Charlie Blackmon try to transition to first base.
Wow, I would not even think of that. He would be an awkward first baseman.
It would honestly save Charlie Blackmon at least 3 years on his career.
Well, and that's why the argument trade him to the AL if you trade him because
he's a designated hitter.
He's a designated hitter.
Exactly. That's where he should be is in the American League. But the other argument is that pretty soon we're going to have a DH in the National League. We're going to have a DH all across baseball, and that's where Charlie Blackmon. I guarantee you, we're going to have a designated hitter here in a couple years. If it's not this offseason, it's next offseason. The designated hitter is inevitable coming to the National League. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. With Major League Baseball trying to increase run production, trying to increase offense, they're going to add the designated hitter.
We need some fan responses. We have fan questions this week. Let's have a fan response. When do you believe the designated hitter will come, if it does come? And do you believe it's going to come? So respond to that. Send us an email, Game 7 Show. Respond to us on Twitter. Isaac will post this clip here. I'm in the frame so you can see my radio face. Do you think the DH comes to the MLB?
It should 100%.
Answer that question for us for Game 7.
Game7show@gmail.com. Tweet us at _Game7.
Last question here from the fans. End the happy hour. Nobody loves the end of happy hour, but it comes. Can the Rockies realistically make the playoffs this year? We answered this earlier. Realistically, no.
Realistically, no. They have no shot because the pitching is not that consistent right now, and our offense is sluggish. So really, and you got to make 6.5 games up. Granted, you got 50 games to do it, but given that, you have to go 45-5 to make the playoffs.
Realistically, no, but there's a chance. If any team can do this.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Exactly. Yeah. What team in college? I mean, there was no chance for the Avs to make the playoffs whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And look at them. They are the top.
But
top
the difference
team in the
between
West.
them is that the Avs started off so hot. The
Well,
Avs
Rockies
started
had
off as a top
Rockies
two.
were the best team in baseball for quite a while.
Not after we started
Played
3-13.
And after that period, since like May 31st to like June 28th, right? Like you said, they were pretty dang good. And they hadn't been that bad to start the year.
I think it was May 15th to June 30th. I think we were the best team.
Right, and that's about the same period of time that the Avs were good.
But given that we still have the Reds in front of us, the Mets, the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and Milwaukee, we do have a series against Milwaukee. We do have a series against Arizona. We do have one more series against San Francisco. In San Francisco, that's in September, I believe. One series against the Mets, and we don't have any more games against the Reds, but we're a game behind them.
Realistically, no. But I could support them doing it.
Okay, so
we would love it for the content.
If we could find a way to win the series, every single series against the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and we find a way to win against the Mets, we have a shot.
2 out of 3, man. That's all they need.
2 out of 3 is not good enough anymore.
That's winning the series.
You have to sweep at this point. When you're 8 games under 500, you're at 52-60 right now. Your magic number is 90. You have to win 90 games to make the wild card. 90 is the magic number. Correct? 90 has always been the magic number.
But if you look at the wild card standings, 90 is not going to be the magic number right now.
When the Cardinals are at 58, the Phillies are at 58, and the Nationals are at 58.
58 and what?
58 and 52, 58 and 53.
So they're just a couple games over. So 85 is more of a realistic number, I think. 87 is the ceiling for the wild card.
Guarantee you 2 of these teams are going to catch fire here in August and September. I guarantee you at least 2 of these teams are going to catch fire.
But I think like the Nationals are on fire right now. The Cardinals have played better. The Giants have been on fire.
Okay, so they're 5-6 games above 500, right? So if you finish, that puts you at 80, 86, right? If they stay at this pace. But they are not going to stay at this pace. Somebody is going to get on fire because.
And why not the Rockies?
Exactly. So you got to win 90 games.
Start winning now.
You needed to start winning last month.
Well, they needed to win at least the last month. They didn't win last month, so.
But
let's stick at Coors Field for this next part, or do you want to finish?
Say that one more time.
You want to stick at Coors Field for the breakthrough?
Yeah. Let's talk about the breakthrough.
Yeah, meet me at the London. No, let's go to Coors Field. The breakthrough. This is you today. I had last week.
Yeah,
so.
Last week the breakthrough was about Fortnite, and a kid won $3 million. Right? What song is this? Is this?
This is a fire instrumental.
I can't believe you chose this song to play. Oh, that's so great. Turn that music. Turn it down just a tad bit. Okay.
Why can't I dance to High School Musical? You got something?
Oh man, that cracks me up.
I'm a big High School Musical guy. Come on.
Yeah, it's really funny because in high school, that's what we used to make fun about was High School Musical. But anyways,
that's hilarious, dude.
The Oakland Athletics. I can't take you serious right now. The Oakland Athletics signed a pitcher after he throws 96 miles per hour at Coors Field. So pretty much viral marketing and social media is the fastest way to spread news across the country, but not everybody can just become a social media sensation overnight. You can take all the people who have tried to become internet sensations and fill up Coors Field. It just so happened that this athlete changed his life after a trip to Coors Field this year. Nathan Patterson, Nashville, Tennessee, baby. Went viral on Twitter with the help from his brother. I guess it was his brother's tweet, actually, who said something to the effect of, "Hey, my brother threw 96 miles per hour at Coors Field at MLB. Somebody needs to sign this man." Patterson threw the ball over 90 miles per hour into the pad at least 5 times with people surrounding him. He topped out at 96, and the other ones hit 94 and 95. His brother Christian Patterson was the one that sent out the video. That tweet quickly gained a lot of attention, and it racked up over 206,000 views. Reportedly, the Oakland Athletics called him just days later, and Patterson signed a professional contract just weeks after that. Patterson told MLB.com's Adrian Garro that last August he was in attendance at a AAA minor league baseball game watching the Nashville Sounds. The Nashville Sounds also just so happen to be the AAA affiliate of the Oakland Athletics.
Wow.
Patterson hit 96 on the radar gun in the interactive area similar to that of Coors Field. So that's when the Oakland Athletics and Patterson first came into contact with each other. Patterson started to train but was just injured in a car accident in December. Right, so he broke something in his left wrist, I believe. Forced to put a cast on it. But Patterson kept on throwing, kept on training. He actually joined a men's baseball league. Over that time, he was pitching with a cast on. Went viral on social media again. Oakland Athletics reached out to him again, said, "Hey, when you get healthy, let us know. We'd love to come watch you pitch." And then just weeks ago, that's when Patterson came to Coors Field, touched 96, and the A's called him again. So his fastball was topped out at 95 miles per hour, and his running toss topped out at 99 miles per hour. So again, that video gained over 80,000 views. Patterson talked with the front office of the Athletics in February 2019, and was, again, like I said, working out in a baseball league near his home in Nashville, and then signed a professional contract just days after he threw 96 at Coors Field. On his Instagram, he wrote, "Words cannot describe this feeling, and I cannot thank everyone enough who has been a part of this journey so far. My family has given me nothing but constant love and support throughout the last 9 months as I pursue a dream of mine that I've had since I was a little kid. It's been a roller coaster to get here with many challenges and overcoming adversity. For those of you who tell you that you can't achieve your dreams, use that as fuel to work even harder, because those people are the ones that settle." End of quote. Patterson's going to start at low A ball with the athletics organization, and I guarantee you everybody has eyes on him now. Will, what do you take away from this story?
The sun will shine.
The sun will shine.
We will work things out. I think that's really what was going through. I mean, cheesy as hell as it is, but like, he kept grinding, man. He never thought he was going to do it. And like,
yeah, 23 years old, and he just signed a professional contract to play baseball.
Respect, man. I'm going to cheer for him as he makes his way up to
yeah. Of course, especially for an Oakland Athletics organization who's last in MLB in strikeouts.
I mean, has he, like, I don't know.
Does the argument as he gets called up, assuming hopefully he does, right? We're all rooting for this Nathan Patterson guy. But if he gets called up, I guarantee you everybody's going to be watching him.
Right.
This is more than a feel-good story. You know?
Yes. The argument against it is, what about all those guys that have played their entire lives in minor league baseball? They've grinded they spent all this money on travel ball, all this stuff, and then this guy just throws 96 at him.
No, he's played baseball his whole life, you know?
Right.
And then stopped playing baseball after a little bit of college baseball, I believe, is how the story goes, and then threw 96 after like not throwing a baseball for like almost a year in Nashville, and then joined a baseball league. So it just so happened, you know, right place, right time, right organization. It worked out for him, you know?
This is a banger, dude. I'm just jamming over here.
Great dance moves, man.
The breakthrough is fire, but this song's even more fire.
For those of you guys that... since this is a podcast, not everybody watches the YouTube video, Will is dancing right now.
That's a shout-out. That's shameless plug to the YouTube. Oh, now Isaac's dancing.
That's what you were doing, bro.
Now you have to watch the YouTube.
I don't know what it was.
Here, I'll throw it up real quick. Okay, that's cheesy. Not respected professional journalist.
Anyways, hey, numbers don't lie, man. With all this regards, we're wishing Nathan Patterson the best. We're wishing him and his family the best. Very exciting to see him sign a professional contract to play with the Oakland Athletics organization, and we look forward to him playing a lot more baseball continuing.
All right, that's enough dancing. Okay. Any more breakthrough for us?
Nope. Let's close it out a little bit, though.
Close it out a little bit? Like, what's a little bit of a close?
What did we learn today, Will? That's what we're going to talk about. What did we learn today?
Realistically, the Rockies are not going to make the playoffs, but I hope they do. Realistically, the Broncos could be a threat to battle for the AFC West in a wild card.
But they could be a 4-12 football team.
Correct. Follow your dreams if your name is Nathan. Nathan Peterman.
Follow your dreams if
Patterson,
your name is
whatever his name is.
I think it's Patterson.
Well, Peterman's pretty good, too. Plays in the NFL. So
follow your dreams.
QB.
Don't give up. You know, look at us. Now we're on Apple Podcasts, man.
Yeah.
This is a celebration.
Isaac couldn't figure it out how to do it. We gave up for a while.
Yeah, because we couldn't get on. They told us we were too. We didn't have a big enough following.
We weren't cute enough.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. But as always, I want to thank you. Give a big thank you to Met Radio for hosting us on their podcast, on their radio, on their studio. Very special stuff that we get to be students here at MSU Denver and be a part of this such a talented radio and media program. And they let us use their studio, let us use the equipment, let us post to their platform, let us post to their website, and really give you guys more content to listen. The sports drive the content stories for us to talk about, and we live in such a great city in Denver where there is sports all around us. We got the Rockies, the Broncos, the Nuggets, the Avs. The Rapids are in Commerce City, you know.
They got the plague. We didn't talk about that. That's something we probably should have talked about.
What is that? Tell me about that. They actually had, like, the plague, or what was it?
So not the guinea pigs, but the what are those little dogs called?
Prairie dogs.
Prairie dogs. The prairie dogs have plague, or that disease is running through that area. And even the wildlife sanctuary right there is dealing with it too. So, I mean, obviously, if you get a plague-infested prairie dog and it comes up to you, it's gonna hurt. I mean, I don't know how the plague works, but you don't want it. So that's why if they shoot up, I mean, your worry here is, like, one, people in construction scare animals away, right? That's true, but if they're going to shoot fireworks off right there by Dick's Sporting Good Park, that's going to scare the guinea pigs, the prairie dogs, and they're going to want to come towards people and stuff. That's why they won't let anybody park in the dirt parking lots.
Oh,
so they're just trying to, I mean.
Safety.
Yeah, and
safety
if one person gets the plague, it could go a long ways.
That makes sense. Huh. I guess I didn't know that. But thank you, at Met Radio. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. How sweet is that, baby? We're on 3 major platforms. Hit us up with questions for the next podcast. Interact with us on social media. You can email us, game7show@gmail.com, Facebook, Game7Show, YouTube, Game7Show, Twitter, @_Game7. You can follow Will at Will Satler. You can follow myself at Isaac_Bugarin. And I want to remind everybody that if you are looking for a pet, go to the shelter first. And what's the magic word for this episode?
Well, we can't use dog food or anything like that because we
said
talked about that. I mean, what's for dinner?
Spaghetti. No, let's do nachos.
Can't be food.
What about nachos for dinner, man?
But we did food last week, so we got to do like.
Hey, we're going to Topgolf tonight, right?
Yeah, Topgolf invited the Game 7 podcast for our story.
How sweet is that? Topgolf, the one in Thornton that is opening officially on Friday, is inviting the Game 7 crew to come to a invite-only event and let us play Topgolf. Or play at Topgolf.
Shoot us. Wow, I don't know what the magic word is. Reeboks. Reeboks is the word.
Reeboks?
Yeah.
All right, if you hit us up with the word Reeboks.
You're still listening all the way through.
And we're going to talk about you on the next podcast.
Reeboks. You got the shout out last week. We'll see you next week.